Yeah, if you look at what some of the Wall Street powerhouses actually have, like Koch, Koch, another famous name out there. I mean, you're making like $1 billion a year. Billion. In other words, if you spent $1 million a year for 1,000 years, you'd spend $1 billion. There's something wrong with the situation. And actually, the way to cut their power is if everything went back to silver and gold, they couldn't accumulate that kind of money. There just is not enough silver and gold out there. It is simple 101. Brother John F. points this out. That is simple 101. And it tells me one thing: there's going to be a financial catastrophic collapse in the future at some point in time. And that's why Mark Farber, street savvy Mark Farber, is making a bet on gold. Now, I know silver's schizophrenic. It's going up, it's going down. It was going down as hard this morning, it's up. To tell you the truth, the way I am, not that I would do this, but let me put the predication first. Say, for instance, silver is a fixed price of $10 an ounce, and that's just what it is. And fiat paper is God, and somehow they made silver worth $10 an ounce. And you know what? I still wouldn't sell it. And if they said, the powers that be said, you cannot own silver, you cannot own gold, and they're going to do all this bad stuff to you if you have gold or silver. And I actually said, well, I don't want to have it anymore. I still would not turn it in. I chop it up into tiny little pieces, and I go ride around on my motorcycle all over the freaking country, and there'd be like a little piece about this tiny, maybe every 10 miles, all over the place. That's what I would do. Serious. I don't think there's too many people who would do that, but I would. So, you got to have that kind of scorched earth mentality if you're going to beat these fuckers. That's what you got to do. That's the only way you're going to beat them. And, but I'm not 110% against the Western elite at all. A lot of people, they think all this stuff like China's buying gold, Russia's buying gold. I know, I freaking figured Russia's got like a gazillion tons of gold. I can figure that because of some of the stuff I saw with other materials that they have. I mean, they got stuff in these warehouses surrounded by the military, and they're loaded with billions of dollars worth of freaking metals and stuff that are real exotic stuff I never heard of, a while back, and I found out about it. But I'm sure they got lots and lots of gold. But you know what? Just remember this. Where did the concept of fiat money come from in the first place? China. China, right? It's like, if you tear up the Western elite over here or something like that, and they all go down, the people in the United States aren't going to be saved by Chinese leadership. I know like in China itself, it's probably a little more laid back than the United States, but that's because the elite don't have a way to interfere in the average Chinese life as much as the elite do in America, because we got the technology and the infrastructure to do so. But if the United States did fall apart, don't expect China to do you a favor here in the West. No way in hell. We just be a resource, man. God, you got to be kidding me. It's as bad as like what's going on in the United States with, like, say, prison industries and things like that. They're using like prisoners, profit from their labor to shore up the military-industrial complex. Hey, if the United States fell apart or something like that, whatever really bad or whatever it is, look what goes on in China. I'm not saying this against the Chinese people, but the Lao guy, they could put somebody in there for 3 years without even freaking charges. They could just some bureaucrat nails them. I mean, I remember stories, the more extreme stories, even in when they had the Soviet Union time. If you desecrate a picture of Lenin, I mean, you could be having it could be like not on purpose. Somehow, something got on this picture of Lenin. You desecrated the leader. You're going into the gulag, to work. They'll do that with the Americans, man. They'll do that with all Americans. And I got to say this too. A lot of people are like, the West has got the elite. They're the problem, all the problems in the world. No, not exactly. It's like human nature. They got just as many bad shitheads on the other side of the world than they do in the United States. They're even worse. So, one thing that keeps us a little bit different over here in the United States is the Bill of Rights. But I have to say this about Americans in general. Americans are the most tolerant freaking people going, man. You think like there's like tension and class. Well, maybe there's more class division than racial division. That's for sure. It's more like class division. But Americans generally get along with each other much, much better than what goes on in other countries, man. Oh, Americans are way tolerant, way more tolerant. That's why I realize in these other, that's why you got some, I call them kind of naive Americans sometimes, because they don't realize just how screwed up some of these other places are. And it doesn't matter just because they talk peace and they talk all this wonderful shit, That's not true necessarily at all. We're much more tolerant. But stick with your silver, stick with your gold. It is going to go way up. But my game plan is I'm not selling it, period. Until it goes way to hell up, where I think the asset silver is going to give me another asset that's very good, that's depressed. Then I will sell it. But if they keep holding the price down, I'm not going to sell it. And if they make it like where you can't turn it in anywhere, and it's illegal to have, and they got some kind of like drone scanner to try to find your silver from the sky, just who the hell knows, right? Or gold, whatever it is. I'd take it, chop it up in a million pieces, and it'd be all over the roadways of America in like grams. 1 gram every mile or something shit like that, and let them go get it, That's what I would do. So that's the way you got to think. That's the only way you beat them, actually. So, scorched earth all the way, right? So, anyway, just hang on, man. It is going to go up, and they're not going to be able to confiscate it. That's bullshit. I know that, but if I just put that as an example, if it got down that extreme, that's what I would do. They ain't getting shit. Period. That's the way it goes.